Developing news right now. This morning, the leaders of an armed militia in Oregon have been arrested, and officials report one man was killed during an exchange of gunfire.
And we're going to talk more about the charges the group will face and the circumstances of that arrest just a little bit later in this newscast on this continuing developing story.
And also happening right now, a manhunt's underway in East Nashville.
In fact, a man was forced to hand over his money and his pants at gunpoint. Kimberly Davis joins us live with more on this. And Kimberly, was the victim hurt in this incident?
Steve, good morning. Police are telling us that that man is expected to be okay. He was not injured, but it was really just a scary situation. Not only was he robbed at gunpoint, but a shot was fired in the air. Now police are looking for the suspect and want this man behind bars. Police tell us a man was walking to his car in the parking lot around 6th Street at Summer Place early this morning. Police say a man with a gun jumped from behind a parked car a few vehicles away and demanded the victim's money. But that wasn't enough for the suspect. The suspect also made the victim take his pants off and start running away from him. Police say the suspect didn't think that the victim was running fast enough for him, so he fired a shot into the air before he fled from the scene. Now, when Metro Police arrived at the scene, they did have a canine with them and tried to track this suspect down by his scent, but they lost the scent around South 5th Street. Again, the victim was robbed of his wallet, his cash, and his pants. Police are still actively searching for the suspect this morning. If you have any information that could help them in their search, give Metro Police a call at 615-74-CRIME. We are live in East Nashville. Kimberly Davis, News Channel 5.
Kimberly, thanks. The search for a killer heats up this morning in South Nashville. Metro PD saying that a woman was driving to work yesterday morning when she spots the body of James Lytle on the side of the road near Edger Lake Drive and Pebble Creek Drive. Right now, it's unclear where and how the 53-year-old died, but investigators say he had signs of serious trauma to his upper body.
The body was just outside the wood line, was not concealed. That leads us to believe that the person was placed there or was killed there, we're not sure which, probably during the overnight hours.
If you have any information on Lytle's murder, call Crime Stopper 615-74-CRIME.
And a 9-year-old goes missing in Franklin. Now 2 people, including her mother, are facing charges in connection with the incident. Overnight, we've learned the girl's estranged mother, Maria Davis, and Edward Ector, were arrested and charged with custodial interference. Police say the 2 picked up 9-year-old Anaya Miller near her bus stop yesterday morning when the little girl didn't show up at school. A missing child alert was issued. About 4 hours later, a 3rd person safely handed her over to police. That person has not been charged.
Police are on the search this morning after 3 banks were robbed just hours apart. The first one happened just before 10 yesterday morning. This is the SunTrust Bank branch on Thoroughbred Lane near Brentwood. Investigators say after getting the cash, the suspect, a man in his 40s or 50s, in that photo right there, ran to a nearby O'Charlie's parking lot and hopped into a red Pontiac Grand Am and then drove off. Then just a few hours later, this guy you see on the left side of the screen there with the red hoodie on has teardrop tattoos on his face. He robbed the Bank of America on Murfreesboro Pike. About 10 minutes or so later, police say he also tried to rob the Regions Bank down the street, but he took off before grabbing the cash because he spotted an off-duty police officer in the drive-through line. If you recognize either one of those men, contact Crime Stoppers this morning.
A mother is demanding answers this morning after her 4-year-old daughter came home from school with scratches and bruises. Renika Kennedy says last week she was called to pick up her daughter, Kydria, from pre-K at Joseph Brown Elementary School because she was misbehaving. Well, on the way home, Kennedy says she spotted marks on Kydria's body. The little girl said that they were from her special education teacher.
She said, "Mommy, she took me in her room and I didn't want to go in her room, and she scratched me, Mommy, and held my arms tight."
Kennedy has since filed a complaint with the school. A Murray County School spokesperson tells us that they are investigating the incident.
Funeral services for a little 2-year-old Noah Chamberlain will be held today over in West Tennessee. Noah had been missing for a week when his body was discovered near his home last Thursday. The toddler was walking in the woods near Pinson, which is south of Jackson, with his sister and grandmother when he wandered away. A preliminary autopsy report found the toddler died from hypothermia. Hundreds are expected to attend the visitation this morning at Fellowship Bible Church in Jackson.
Embattled Representative Jeremy Durham is once again in the hot seat today. Lawmakers are expected to vote on whether he should be kicked out of the Republican caucus. And Matthew Torres live at Legislative Plaza this morning with more. And Matthew, even the governor has weighed in.
Amy, that's right. Whenever asked what he would do in Jeremy Durham's position, this is what Governor Haslam had to say.
As a Republican leader yourself, do you think he should step down, in your opinion?
In my opinion, it'll be hard for him to be effective representing his constituency at this point.
Haslam said he'd strongly consider resigning if he were in the Republican representative's position. Jeremy Durham says he is not going anywhere as a representative, following accusations that he sent inappropriate text messages to women on Capitol Hill about 3 years ago. Now, Democrats say several Republican leaders knew about the allegations, but still voted to keep him as majority whip 2 weeks ago. However, that all changed Sunday when Durham stepped down as the whip, feeling recent events have become a distraction to the caucus. The committee would also, now members with the House Democratic Caucus requested a bipartisan committee equally made up of both parties to investigate the allegations surrounding Durham, saying the committee would also have subpoena powers. Durham says the process has been unfair, but he believes that he could get enough votes to, quote, survive. That meeting to vote whether or not he should stay with the caucus is expected to start in about an hour and a half here at Legislative Plaza. We're live in downtown at Matthew Torres, News Channel 5.